Welcome to The Glitter Effect, a podcast dedicated to shining a light on the movers, shakers, change makers, and all-round living legends of our communities who are making a real difference. Today on the podcast, I'm joined by someone whose story is not only incredibly moving, but a shining example of turning personal heartbreak into powerful purpose. Jason Sotiris is the founder of SuperTee, a medical garment designed like a superhero costume, giving young children in hospital both comfort and courage during the toughest battles of their lives. What began as a desperate dad's search for a better way to care for his daughter during cancer treatment has now become a national movement in Australia, reaching thousands of families and reminding us all that superheroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they actually wear scrubs and SuperTees. Jason's journey is a masterclass in resilience, creativity, and compassion. So get ready to be inspired as we explore how one spark of hope turned into a glitter trail of impact. Jason Sotiris, welcome to The Glitter Effect.
Kate, thank you so much for that intro, and thank you for having me on the show.
I'm thrilled to have you, Jason. I can't wait to unpack this one. I know our listeners are going to love it. We're going to kick off and start with the absolute heart of your work. Can you tell us a little bit about what SuperTee is and what was the catalyst moment that sparked the creation of this incredible idea?
Well, the SuperTee, as you've mentioned, is an attempt to introduce, and it's so strange to say this, hospital fashion.
Yep.
There is such a thing. We want to do away with the hospital gown. I'm sure your listeners would agree this has become a symbol of illness. And so we wanted to find a more practical way to care for our children, but also challenge what it means to be sick. That hospital gown has so many negative connotations, and we give this to people we love in hospital. They already feel sick. Now they officially look sick, being given their hospital gown. But can we change that meaning from being sick to being brave, from being ill to being strong, and just challenge that mindset? And it all started with recognizing the challenges I faced with my daughter going through nearly 3 years of treatment for a rare type of cancer. At the time, I was a tradie. I was working in construction. I needed something to fix. There was nothing I could do. I felt sidelined, pretty useless throughout the whole time seeing her fight. And I'm sure every parent has been through that nightmare, would agree. They would swap places with that child in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And that desperation to just want to help make a difference. She was given very slim chances of survival, 20 to 25%. And anything that could go wrong went wrong with her, with reactions, relapses, infections, you name it. So seeing her go through all of this, that's my daughter. What can I do? There was nothing I can fix. And with the countless hours spending by her bed, listening to the sound of my people, beep, beep, that awful beeping sound. I would just look at the door, I would look at the window, I'll look at her. What can I do? And I noticed how hard it was to change her. And, you know, for these kids confined to a hospital bed with all the wires and tubes, it's very easy for them to make a mess. Very easy for them to, sweat and mess up and think about the chemo and all the medicine they get given, how often they would throw up. Now, Angela, my daughter, didn't want to wear a hospital gown. She wore singlets or T-shirts. And one day was very difficult. I remember they gave her chemo that day. We finally managed to put her to sleep. I was exhausted. It was a long day. She woke up, sat up on her bed, started to moan in discomfort, and she threw up. And I called the nurse. Now, she's wearing a T-shirt, and I'm trying to navigate through all the wires and tubes. And the more I move her, the more upset she's getting. And, she was only 2 at the time, I think. And when the nurse finally arrives, because I didn't want to tug on something or hurt her, definitely called the nurse to help with that. I say out of frustration, why haven't they made something easier for us to change our kids? And that was the light bulb moment. And what followed was 2 years of trying to figure out a more practical way to bypass all this medical equipment. But I had time. I was desperate to help. And I had access to wonderful families and nurses.
And this was all going on while your daughter's still receiving treatment?
Yeah. I got to work on it. Yeah, I got to work on it towards the tail end of her journey in hospital. She was in there for nearly 3 years.
Yep.
And I've never sewn a button or made a T-shirt in my life. And I'm going to share a secret with all your listeners. I still don't know. But I brought together a community of people that could see how desperate I was. I needed to do this. And there was a lovely lady that lived nearby who did alterations for school uniforms. Mm-hmm. And she said, if you bring me the material, I will put it all together. And the amount of times I went back and forth to her, the amount of times that we adjusted, changed everything, Velcro, zippers, buttons, you name it. We opened it up from the front, the back, the side. It was long, it was short, it was reversible, it was a poncho, it was a wrap. There was one with shoelace ties that looked awful. We tried everything, but then we finally cracked it. And then my son came along. I'm now a father of 3.
Wow.
And my son, Tio, he showed me that it's not just about finding a more practical way. We had to challenge the meaning because Tio became Angela's shadow. He followed her around everywhere. But he also saw a lot of things that no child should ever see growing up.
Yep.
You know, his big sister in a lot of pain and suffering, the house constantly in anxiety and fear. And I wonder if that's the reason why he gravitated towards liking and loving superheroes. And so the story goes, one day I'm looking after Tio at home. I can't remember how old he is at this time. He must be about 4 or 5. And I say to Tio, go get changed. We're going to go see Mummy and Angela at the hospital. Mm. And shortly afterwards emerges this fully kitted out superhero.
Oh, how old was he?
He must have been about 4.
Yeah.
3 or 4 at the time. Maybe a little. Yeah, my memories. I'm sure it was 4, around 4 years old. And I took a photo of it because I asked him a question as a joke. I said, hey, mate, what are we doing? Who are we saving today?
Oh.
And what do you think he said? Yeah.
His sister.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So that was a very profound emotional moment for our family.
That's given me a tear in my eye just thinking about that. That is so pure.
I think a lot of people forget the impact it has on siblings.
Yeah.
I think if a lot of people think that when a child's diagnosed with a life-threatening condition, absolutely, all the focus is on that child. But when one person in our family, and I'm sure it's the same for your family and everyone else, when one person in that family goes through something, we all go through it together. If you fight, we all fight.
Yeah.
So Tio showed me that we had to change the meaning behind it because he inspired the costume idea. And what was wonderful was I came across these wonderful studies about the impact that costumes have on children. Mm-hmm. There was one study I never forget we came across where they got a bunch of kids of different ages. They brought them into a room, these researchers. And in this room was a table and chair with a plastic box on the table that had a locked door on it. And inside this plastic box that you could see through was a toy.
Yep.
And they would hand these kids one by one a bunch of keys, and they would say, if you could find the key that unlocks the door, you can have that toy inside. Mm. The thing was, Kate, none of the keys worked on purpose. Cruel. I know. How cruel is that? These kids would sit there and they would try and figure out which key unlocks the door. But these researchers were looking for how long until this child gives up.
Ah.
It was a measurement of persistence.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what do you think happened when they started to put costumes on the kids?
They didn't give up as quickly?
It doubled the amount of persistence time.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And when we came across this study, we realized that what you wear matters.
Yeah.
They believe that the costume allows or gives permission to the child to place what's called psychological distance between them and the task by impersonating the characteristics of that superhero that they become. And we know superheroes don't give up. They win the day. And we had to have this.
That's so powerful. That's beautiful. I love there's more to it. I didn't know that.
It's deep. Yeah.
It's very deep. That's so powerful.
Yeah. So the SuperTee is a costume first, medical garment second.
Yep.
And we went through so much red tape. There was a lot of resistance. As you can imagine, whenever anyone disrupts anything, it's not met with welcome arms. It's a lot of hesitation. We were the new ride at the showgrounds, and everyone had their reservations. But it was the families, it was the nurses that pushed through.
Yep.
And said, we want this. So SuperTee, as much as it is a product, it's also a cause. It's a family charity supported by families to support other families.
That's great. And I will tell you, we spoke off air, but I will tell you that my son Harvey, and some of my listeners will know this already, but he also went through treatment for leukemia over 3 years, and he was just shy of turning 3 when he was diagnosed. And he is was a proud owner and wearer of a SuperTee throughout that journey. And my gosh, now you've said that, he would be different in his SuperTee. He had that superhero aura about him and would take on more and stomp through the hospital like he was Superman or whoever he wanted to be on that particular day. So I can attest it works. All your research, it absolutely works.
For the listeners, I'm smiling so much now hearing that, and that's exactly what I hope to hear. I'm sorry you had to go through all of that. I hate this disease with every ounce of my being. I hate cancer so much. And I think I'm going to share something very personal with you and your listeners. I've never left the hospital.
Yeah.
I keep going back. I keep going back to try and help other children. But whenever I walk into that room and I see a child on that hospital bed, who's that? Who do I really see in that hospital bed? I see my child.
Yeah.
And it's something, I don't know, it's a parental instinct. I think any parent would agree that if you saw a child crying in a crowd that looks like they've lost their parents, we automatically go into parent mode and protect that child.
Sure.
And it's something about when you become a parent that you just feel that need that all children deserve the best of care and love and protection and support. And so this is much of therapy for me. I don't feel as useless as I did before. I didn't feel as helpless. There are experiences that I just can't get rid of, these demons in my mind where, I remember they were holding Angela down to try and insert a cannula for like the 13th time. They were trying to find a vein.
Yeah.
And she's looking at me and tears coming from her eyes and she's saying, Daddy, please, no more. No more. And you know what that's like.
Yeah. Breaks your heart because you can't do anything. And you're making me emotional now talking about it because it's very real. It's very real.
And that anger and hate that you have towards this disease, it's that fire. And I think any parent that's been through that hell, or no parent wants to go into hospital, no child wants to. But can we make the best of a terrible situation somehow? And I think that power of imaginative play, that power of a costume can try and do something.
Yeah.
There's a movie that, I don't know if you've seen it. If you have, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen this movie, Kate, you're welcome. And to your listeners that haven't seen it, please watch this movie. It's called Life is Beautiful. I believe the movie's from Roberto Benigni, and it tells the story of a father and son being thrown in a concentration camp during the Second World War.
Yep.
Now, from the father's perspective, he knows exactly how evil and terrible this place is. But the way he maintains his child's innocence through play, hide and seek, finders keepers, with the prize at the end, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Watch this movie and you'll try and understand I can see now what Jason's trying to do for these kids and parents in hospital.
Yeah.
The dream is to have a SuperTee available for every time a child needs one. I don't want there to be a SuperTee unavailable. I believe the day of the hospital gown has come to an end, and I believe what you wear matters. And I believe our children deserve the same recognition and the same admiration that we give to first responders, to our military, because of the bravery that they must face. They have to. There's no choice. And for those that, I mean, for any listeners that if you find yourself afraid of the dark, imagine what it feels like for a child. Imagine what it feels like for a child that's going through something terminal.
Yeah.
You know, how brave they have to be. How they deserve our recognition and admiration. They are superheroes.
Spot on. Absolutely. And I firmly believe as well that before we came on, I was reflecting, and my husband and I've got 3 as well, and Harvey is my youngest, so we had 2 older ones. And our focus was making sure the older ones were okay, because there was a team looking out for Harvey. But in the same vein, we wanted them to be part of the journey to understand. But when we were in hospital, and thankfully we weren't during COVID, so we could have visitors. That's another level when COVID hit. We would always say that time stood still on the ward. You're in some kind of weird time warp of beeps and a revolving door of professionals. So those small things that brighten up the day for your child will make your day better. And that's the way we looked at it. And so the likes of SuperTee, whilst people who may not appreciate if they haven't gone through that with a sick child, and goodness, I don't want them to either, but equally just that small, just getting the box and opening it, that's 5 minutes of joy that you take again and again and again, just to release the monotony of the sterile. I mean, they try and do it very well in children's hospitals, but there's still that sterile environment, isn't there? So I just think that's really the key, is that it just brings delight to not just the child, but to the family too, because they can see their child being a child.
The SuperTee, I think, represents different things to different people. For the donor that is deciding whether or not this is worthy of their hard work and time, you know.
Yep.
You know, it's hard to make money. To part with that for something you believe in really means a lot to us. But we have something physical and tangible that you can see.
Yeah.
You know, it's instead of buying a toy, kids don't need toys, they need treatment.
Yeah.
They need better care. And so choosing this over a toy or choosing this to support really means a lot to us. From a corporate, you know, they have the ability to buy hundreds, if not thousands of these on behalf of hospitals. What started in one hospital is now in 102 hospitals nationwide.
And on that, how did you secure the partnerships with the hospitals and the organisations?
It starts with one.
Yeah. So what hospital were you at?
We're at the Children's Hospital at Westmead, and we launched in June 2018. And I remember that day because the first 400 was purchased by others, and it had to become a charity. We started as a for-purpose, for-profit, not knowing how this would react. I was still a tradie, and we thought this wouldn't sit nicely on the shelves of gift shops for friends and family to purchase on behalf of the child in hospital. We knew we didn't want parents to have to worry about how they can afford it. We were marketing it to family and friends, because I think a lot of people don't realize that when you have a child that's diagnosed with something serious, mum and dad are not working as often. It interrupts their work. They're now not only worried about their child, they're worried about if they can afford the mortgage or the rent or the bills. You know, they still come, and you're down one income, if not two.
Yep.
And so we wanted to take that into account. But people just kept buying these online, saying, just give it out. It had to become a charity. So we started in one hospital, And then it grew organically because of parents and nurses, parents like yourself, where they would say, hey, why don't you get your hands on a SuperTee? Because you're so right. Time stands still in a hospital. It is its own universe. And I've seen some wonderful acts of kindness in a hospital.
Yeah.
Where you see a family that's going through something similar or their own journey. You see them the first time, you see them the second or third. By the time you've seen them for the 15th, 20th time, you know their first name, the name of their child, the name of their dog, their favorite TV show, what they're watching, what their child likes, what they don't like. You're watching their child whilst they go downstairs to grab a coffee or duck home and get some clothes.
Yep.
That act of kindness that we rely on, that economy of kindness. And I often wonder how the world would be if we just took a little bit of that outside, because we were all suffering in hospital.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't want to make anyone else's experience any harder than what it already is. But can we make it easier? And by doing that, you kind of felt like you were able to do something. You know, whether it was just being able to listen to someone and their worries and fears, trying to put a smile on their kid's face. And so SuperTee, I honestly believe, grew out of the support from parents and families because and nurses. So nurses would move on to different hospitals or be rostered around.
Yep.
And we would get these emails and phone calls. Hey, how do we bring SuperTees here? And because we were already in one, that the floodgates were open.
So they could see, the healthcare professionals could see the benefits.
Absolutely.
Beyond the treatment side of things as well for the kids. They could see the number of reasons why they must be coming into the hospitals. Is that why?
Yeah, as I was saying, they're different. SuperTee means different things to different people. From the parent's perspective, gives them independence. I can change my child more often. It's very hard to get more than one SuperTee, but if you're lucky enough to get more than one, you can change your child often. Take one off, clean it, put a fresh one on. So you see an increase in the level of hygiene. You see a reduction in the number of nurse calls. We're not relying on nurses anymore.
Yep.
The parents play along. The nurses have a gift to give out. The nurses play along as well. And for the child, it's a gift. It's a present. It's a uniform specifically for them. But SuperTees, they're not purchased. They're earned. They get given out to a child because they're recognized for their bravery and courage. To be given one means you are a pretty tough kid. And so I have these wonderful stories of, kids holding out that arm, ready to take that needle, walking through those surgery doors, chin up, just fighting really hard. How can they not deserve a costume of their own?
Absolutely. Yeah, spot on. Now, before we move on, how is your daughter, Angela?
So Angela had a condition called LCH. It got treated with the same drugs that they give to kids with leukemia. It's a very rare condition. I live near a stadium that has a capacity of 33,000. And I've seen that stadium filled up. And what blows my mind is that you need to fill it up 3 times before you get close to what Angela had. 1 in 100,000 kids got what she got.
Wow.
It was so progressed. And they gave her, because of how progressed and aggressive it was, they gave her only a 20 to 25% chance of survival. And like I said, anything that could go wrong went wrong for her, but she fought so hard. I'm proud to say she beat it. She beat it. She overcame the odds. She's 13 now. She is at high school as we talk right now. She has friends. She goes to hip hop class. She knows all the lyrics to Drake, which I'm not proud of. She calls me bro.
Oh, you are fully in the teen mix.
Everything's one-word answers now, isn't it?
And how beautiful is that?
Well, I get more excited than she does on her birthdays.
Yeah, of course.
And you know the blessing is, sorry, Kate, how old was your little one when?
He was just shy of turning 3. And then a 3-year treatment. So he's now 11.
So
similar.
I think
age.
the blessing here, they don't remember any of it.
That's what we always say. Harvey has no recollection. He may have sensations or smells or noises. He doesn't even really remember much about the nurses or anything. So, which we say is great. That's a plus.
Absolutely. I think that's a blessing for us parents.
Yeah.
We never forget. But I think parents that care for sick kids and live that hospital life, I have so much respect and admiration for them. They are the black belt, third Dan version of parenting.
Yeah.
They have so much more wisdom. And, honestly believe if you go through that type of life, when you are lucky enough to leave hospital, if you are, you're left with two gifts. The first gift is, I'm going to do everything I can to never return. Yeah. So you change your life. It's interesting how suffering can change people.
Yeah.
I never want to come back. So you're left with the gift of living a life where you never want to return back to this hospital again. And the second gift is you have laser focused clarity on what is important in life. The small stuff doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Can't get that cake you want for your birthday. Who cares?
Yeah.
And it's amazing the how funny, how on a different level of humor these parents that live that hospital life have. I have the privilege of knowing some and interacting with them, how wonderful and kind they are. They go through so much. They have so little, but yet they give all they can.
Yeah. Yeah. We always used to say, my husband and I, is that, and this is not exclusive to cancer. There's obviously families who are always, with other illnesses with their children too, but we can only talk about our experience through the cancer, childhood cancer. And we always said it was a door we never knew existed and a door we don't want anyone to follow us through. But once you're actually through on the other side, it's actually a beautiful place to be because people are very supportive because everyone's doing their own journey when they're all doing it in their own way, but it is actually full of beautiful people doing amazing things. But yeah, we just want to stop the door from opening beyond us. That's what we always used to say.
Get rid of the door.
Yeah, the door doesn't need to be anyone else's, but and every time we hear that door open again, it sort of puts another dagger in our heart. But so much like you, we do what we can to try and ensure that we can just eradicate cancer for moving forward. But it's not easy, is it? It's certainly not easy. But you taking this to the next level, whilst you've got a sick daughter, you're doing this during her treatment. So this is not something that's just, this is another level. You're just taking on more. What were there must have been highs and lows. I mean, there are highs and lows when you're running any mission-driven organization. What were the big highs and what were the big lows, or what have they been of SuperTee as far as from the beginning to where you are now?
I come across so many stories and the experiences. I've been privileged to visit around the country. Wow, the people that we come across, the volunteers who give up their time, the selfless donors. You have an 11-year-old. I remember we were fundraising at a Comic-Con, and there was this. I'm sure she, I'll never forget this. There was this grandma whose grandson, who would have been around that age, was listening to me talk to someone about what the SuperTee does to help kids in hospital.
Yeah.
Now they're at a Comic-Con. Grandma took this little boy to the Comic-Con, and this boy could have bought anything there. There were rare collectibles, there were comics, there were toys, there were whatever you can imagine. And he chose to listen to me talk to this other person about how SuperTees help kids.
Oh.
And he had $50 in his pocket. And, undoubtedly some pocket money or something that he earned.
Yep.
He chose to support a child in hospital.
That's so nice.
It's things like this where, and Kate, I've been exposed to the most beautiful side of humanity, how caring and loving and awesome we can be to each other. And I've also been exposed to how evil people can be to children.
Yeah.
We as, a society have great potential. We cause so many problems, but we can solve so many problems. And when I think back at the highs and lows, the highs remind me of how grateful I should be, and the lows remind me of how resilient and how much of a lesson we can learn. And I'll take both. I'll take both because we wouldn't be where we are without them.
Yeah. Yep.
In 102 hospitals now, we are aiming to help 20,000 children, all for free. We've got different designs. We want to bring a show bag stand to kids because there's very little choice for them in hospital. They can choose whether they want to eat, sleep, what to watch on their iPad, for instance.
Yep.
Other than that, things are going to happen to them and they don't have a choice.
Yep.
And we wanted to offer them more choice. And by giving them that choice is a real high for me. It's, what hero do you want to be today?
So beautiful.
Being told no, being declined. I've had the worst things called to me. A lot of people don't like what I do, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, I've had people say, how dare you make money on the back of the illness of children? I've had that said to me. I've shaken buckets at shopping centers. Some people really think what we do is terrible, but they won't give me the time to explain what we do. They just paint us with the same brush as perhaps someone else that they think is like that.
And that's education, isn't it? That's talking about it and doing what you're doing. That's surprising.
I think the stories of how brave these children are. Some stories they end well, and some stories they don't. I hear from the parents. I get to know them. They keep me updated with their child's journey. They send me messages. And then it's hard when it's 11 o'clock at night. You get a message, hey, Jace, just wanted to let you know our child passed away today.
Yeah.
And passed away in a SuperTee.
Mm.
And I'm caught in this seesaw of how can I manage this heartbreak that I constantly get versus I don't want to become immune to this because then I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not feeling anything for this. It's just a job, and it's not a job. It's a privilege.
Yeah.
So it's an emotional roller coaster, but the highs and lows, that's what makes it. That's what, it's an interesting life, Kate. It's a very interesting life.
Yeah, that's good. And I suppose, and there's no 2 days are the same either.
No, absolutely not. I mean, look, I'm talking to you today.
Oh, lucky you.
What a privilege.
So you said 2018. So it's been going a while now, hasn't it? That's good. And so what are the plans for the next few years? What do you envisage? Because you're across, have you got most hospitals covered now in Australia?
Yeah, we were in all the major children's hospitals. We're in respite centres, Ronald McDonald houses who do an awesome job. And we're in many regional and metropolitan hospitals that have pediatric wards. And when I say we're in, that means they accept SuperTees. It doesn't mean we can always deliver to them.
Yeah.
SuperTees are very hard to get hold of, and it's created a bit of a culture. Are you really sick enough to deserve one? And it upsets me.
Wow.
And a lot of families only get one. They actually need more than one when you think about it. They dirty one. They need a second one to get, to get by. And it's developed this culture that because they're so hard to get hold of. But we're doing our best to change that. We're trying to meet the demand because every 3 months a hospital would love a delivery.
Yep.
The dream is to have a range of different sizes, to bring the show bag stand to children, to have one available for every time a family's given bad news.
Yep.
To be from someone else. And I would love to see less hospital gowns,
Mm.
more costumes. I would love to see kids dancing, playing on the ward, because it's interesting what the lessons children can teach you, even when you go through so much suffering. You know, they go through so much, but you still see them laugh, giggle, play, smile. And that's their way of just getting through it all. And I would love to see this overseas.
Yep.
I think it has great potential, but it won't get there unless we have amazing people like your listeners that want to believe in something, want to be part of a cause, want to see something grow from its beginnings to it being everywhere, for them to say, yeah, I helped. And buckets don't get filled without a lot of drops of water.
Mm.
And all you need to do is just add your drop and you'll see it. You'll see it fill up.
Yeah, I like that. That's beautiful. Now, we're going to get a little bit lighthearted. Obviously, the podcast is called The Glitter Effect, and I like to call all my guests as glitter kings and queens and congratulate them for becoming glitter royalty. So you are now, Jason, officially part of glitter royalty. Congratulations.
I should have a glitter glitter effect here or something. That would be great.
Insert sound, yeah. But obviously I appreciate that people don't necessarily get to where they are in life without someone or people or a group of people who have inspired them to keep going. So had there been any fellow glitter kings or queens throughout your life that have inspired you to be where you are today?
Wow. Yes. So many.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard, this question.
Yeah,
some people have one, some people have five. I mean, whatever.
We are the sum total of all our experiences, aren't we? So, for resilience, my daughter.
Yep.
For caring compassion, my wife, Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
For determination and inspiration, my son. For belief and friendship, my friend Yusuf, who, you know, I had no money, Kate, and I needed to bring this to life. And I asked family and friends, and many said it was a bad idea. But he believed in this, and he said, I'll go in this with you. He helped bring it to life.
Yeah, that's nice.
The wonderful volunteers, the board that we have, the nurses, the parents that encourage me. The main, and it always comes back to, the reason why I jump out of bed as soon as I wake up is because of these kids in the hospital. How can you not? How can they not be glitter royalty as well? I mean, wow. With everything that they face and everything that they do, it is a honor and a privilege to serve them.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, yeah. That's how many? That's. Have you got any more?
No. I mean, look, I'm sure there's a lot of people that think, "What about me?" But yes, all of everyone. That's
so many people.
It's a boulder that gets pushed uphill, and some people they help for a short while.
Yep.
And some people that are still helping, but it is up there. It is going up that hill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. And so at the Glitter Effect, we believe spreading your glitter means using your unique sparkle to make a difference. What does the phrase the glitter effect mean to you personally?
Yeah, I think it comes back to kindness.
Yeah.
I think has to. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of pain and suffering. There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of evil. There's a lot of suffering, a lot of disease. There's a lot of people going through so much.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe, hand on heart, the antidote to suffering is kindness. Never forget an experience I had where a doctor told me something. He said, you know what the best cure for any disease is, Jason? And I said, what? And he said, love. And I said, okay, well, what if that's not enough? What if that is not enough?
Yeah.
You know what he said? Increase the dose.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love that.
That's really nice. I love that.
Increase the dose.
Everyone can do that. That's a good takeaway. I like that. That's a great one. Finally, people are going to be listening to this and be chomping at the bit to want to find out more about SuperTee and how they can get involved. What's the best way people can find out more or get involved with SuperTee?
We don't do too well on social media. We try our best. We're such a small organization at the moment, but we have a lot of people that help where they can. But to find us, just type in super as in, Superman, SuperTee, T-E-E, one word.
Yep.
You can visit us at our website. We're known also as the SuperTee Project. We started it and still is a project.
Yep.
We call it a project because it's something that's always going to continually evolve over time. What you see today would hopefully not be the same thing you see in 10 years. I think it will be much better and bigger and brighter.
Yep.
But when it comes to someone wanting to find us and wanting to follow us, that means that you believe in this. You want to be aware of it more and you want to be hopefully part of it.
Yep.
And what is a cause without those that believe in it? So if you are going to look us up, if you are going to like and follow us, thank you. But please don't let us stop there. Please get in contact. Please find out how you can get involved. Please tell someone else about it. I don't know who you know.
That's it.
But we have helped so many children on the back of one person saying, hey, have you heard of SuperTee?
Storytelling is the most powerful mouthpiece still, centuries down the line. Yeah, that's great. Jason, we've reached the end of our chat, but I could continue. But I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on the Glitter Effect podcast today. Your story is one of love, courage, and unwavering determination, and I absolutely applaud that. And it's impossible not to be moved by the way you've turned personal pain into purpose with something what's quite simple with SuperTee. What you've created is so much more than a medical garment. It's a symbol of strength, dignity, and hope for children and families doing it tough. Your glitter trail is one that will shine brightly for years to come, and it's been an absolute honour to share this space with you today. Thank you for reminding us that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they lead with heart and purpose. I wish you all the very best with what the future holds with you, your family, and SuperTee. Thank you so much again for your time, and take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you for joining me, Kate Ganneil, on The Glitter Effect. If you've loved this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep showing up, making an impact, and sprinkling that glitter wherever you go. Bye for now.